And we're live. My name is, well, let's hit the intro after we say hi or something. You guys want to say hi?
Hi.
Hi.
You have tuned into the Roto Hackers podcast. We are the unauthorized reporters of fantasy football. My name is Judahbuddha. Right there next to me, that is A.J. Hercial the Kid. And next to him is Jared, the absolute stud.
Finally.
I got it this time, boys. I'm on top of it today. We have football. We got to see some football, and it was great. It was a great game. Wouldn't you guys say?
Oh,
It
yeah.
was.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, so let's just jump right into it. What are some of the takeaways from Thursday night football? We had the GOAT Tom Brady versus the future, maybe, in Dak Prescott. How did you feel? I felt like Dak was sort of a surprise that he did so well. But of course, I've been down on Dak. You guys weren't so down on him. So I was surprised that the GOAT, well, it was just great football.
Yeah.
What's your guys' takeaway? We'll go with you, AJ, since you're right next to me.
Yeah. For one, I was shocked at how well Dallas's defense played, especially in the first half. I mean, we know how atrocious they were last year. Any team with a mediocre wide receiver core, you'd fire them up against Dallas. But I mean, for the most part, they did a good job when it came down to the red zone. First half, they did very well. Dak is back. The wide receiver cores of both, but Tampa and Dallas look insane. I'm regretting not taking Antonio Brown more, because that was all Brady threw to in the first half. But yeah, I thought Dallas's defense and both teams' receiver cores was a big thing. And Greg the Leg got it when he needed to. Just took him 3 tries to get going. Third time's a charm.
Yeah. That was a great game. I had fantasy wise, I had some mixed results with it because I did take a lot of Dak and I did take a lot of Amari Cooper because I thought they were really underrated going into the season as long as Dak was healthy. Because I mean, last year, in those first 6 games, 5.5 games, whatever that he played, the Dallas offense was just crazy. So I was a little bit worried about his health, but not tremendously worried. But I thought he might at least be rusty in that first game, but he was clicking pretty good. Amari Cooper just continued to be a target hog for him. I mean, him and CeeDee Lamb, Amari had 16 targets. CeeDee Lamb had 15 targets. I mean, that's crazy. So they're gonna get a lot of they're going to make a lot of fantasy owners happy this year, I think, as long as they all stay healthy. Tampa's kind of interesting because I had a few shares of Mike Evans. Obviously, that didn't go well, but he had a better cornerback on him than Antonio Brown had on him. A couple of interesting things. One not so interesting thing is Tampa's backfield. It completely avoided that, and it looks like something that should have been avoided. And a lot of people are kind of scared about Dallas's backfield, but I'm not going to panic on Zeke yet. I mean, Tampa had by far the best rush defense in the league last year. I know Tony Pollard was getting more snaps, but he ultimately didn't really get that many carries. So we'll see after another week or two of some lesser defenses. But besides Antonio Brown, which you guys mentioned, it's looking like a guy who could be a huge steal is Rob Gronkowski. Like we could, are we maybe going to get some vintage Gronk here after, he was out for a year and then came back last year. Maybe last year was just shaking off some rust. Is this game, sort of an outlier? Because if it's not, I mean, he's going to be a huge steal at tight end. So
yeah, he looked great. Oh, why do we have this background? He looked great. However, I do think for a lot of we have to keep in mind week 1 is typically an outlier, no matter
the
what
Sammy
happens.
Watkins week.
The Sammy Watkins week, whatever you want to call it, it's typically an outlier. I think this is an outlier game, especially for Dallas, in the sense of they just decided not to run against such a good defense. I don't think it was so much that the defense was good as that they didn't run. I think Ezekiel Elliott had what? I think he had 11 carries
11,
the whole game.
11 carries, yeah.
I mean, come on. They just decided we're going to throw like crazy. And they did. They threw like crazy. As you said, I think they had like over 58
passes.
58 passes. I mean, that's an outlier. That's just statistically, it has to be an outlier. It's going to be, I don't think Zeke is going to do half that bad. And I don't think the wide receiver is going to do that good, unfortunately. I think that's about the best they're going to do all year. But I don't know. I think Gronk's not going to do that well either. Although, here's the thing. I think he's not going to get as many yards. He got a lot of yards, got a lot of passes. But I do think he is going to be a red zone threat. He is going to be a touchdown. And for a tight end, that's all you want, right? You're not going to get 25 fantasy points every week, but I think he could have double digits easily every week, or most weeks, we'll say. So, but as far as, and also for fantasy, I don't think, well, I'm now I don't really know what to think about Brady is going to have to throw. He's throwing to Fournette. He's throwing to everybody. He's Gronk. He's got so many places to throw to. They're all making touchdowns. He could be the number 1 touchdown in fantasy by the end of the year.
He's got a lot of he's got a lot of targets.
Yeah, and no running back, like you said. I mean, they're not going to run it.
I love the investment in Giovanni Bernard just for the pure sake that they have another pass catching weapon to use in Tampa. I thought Brady was going to be a decent steal, but I didn't take enough of him at all. But man, I didn't realize. I knew Dak was probably going to throw 50 times. I didn't think they were going to run Zeke against that front seven, but Brady 50 times. Come on. And I don't know if that's a production of whether it's Dallas's defense actually playing well to the run, Tampa not running well, or Tampa just not caring to run, which I feel like it's a combination of all three. Because I feel like every single touchdown Rojo got last year was a 90-yard touchdown, and everyone Fournette got, he broke for like 30 yards and then got tripped up or something like that. They never broke. They were never getting heavy carries at all. I think I literally have Rojo in one league, and that is it. And once I saw Gio enter in the fourth quarter on that final drive, I was like, oh, okay, yep. I'm not going anywhere near that backfield ever again.
No. Sorry, I'm going to let you guys why don't you guys hit the comments?
Yeah, we got a whole bunch here. First of all, we got our reigning champion, Battle Royale 2K saying, yes, sir. Week 1, let's get it. Ryan N, what's up? Liam Wilson says, it is indeed good to be back, Liam. Battle Royale got a whopping 32 from Amari in the podcast league. Reigning champ gets off to a brilliant start. Everyone who didn't have Mike Evans is pretty happy this week. Now, man, I was not expecting that the amount of players that did well to get so many points. Like, I thought one or two people were going to blow up, but CD, Amari, Antonio, Godwin too. Sure, he had the fumble. He still had a good game, and both quarterbacks. Crazy. Yep. Absolutely crazy. Ryan N said, sorry you missed this fantasy draft stream. He drafted the listener league from a bar. No worries. Glad you were there. At least you were there for the draft. That's what matters. That's what matters, that you were there.
Yeah.
He does ask how do we like his team, and I've got it right here. I'll read it out to you if I can actually get to it, for crying out loud. Is this it? Yes. Okay. So he's the Gotham City Jokers this year, switching from the Tampa Dogs. He's got Matt Ryan, Terry McLaurin, A-Rob, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, DeAndre Swift, Kyle Pitts, Austin Eckler. Oh, man, I like that a lot. Mike Gesicki, Courtland Sutton, Sony Michel, Zach Moss, Mark Ingram, and Devontae Booker? I think it's Devontae Booker. Yeah. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I'm starting to call highway robbery on that starting lineup. I don't know. That's really good.
That's a good lineup. Yeah. I mean, he's got he kind of concentrated a lot into, he doesn't have a guy that necessarily usually gets picked in the first round. Mm-hmm. Eckler maybe is a early to mid second round guy, but I like the balance there because he's got, him, CEH, McLaurin, Robinson, 4 guys that tend to be like sort of second to third round picks. Pitts, he's got what's going to be a top 5 or 6, maybe tight end. Mm-hmm. I mean, I like his team.
Oh, yeah. Liam Wilson says we knew he was going to do. He also drafted from a bar and gave his phone to a drunk who picked up Irv Smith for him. That explains it. I apologize for the $2 you spent on Irv Smith.
That's a memorable story to have there.
True. That is true. Especially if you win the league, because then you can say, I let a drunk draft my team and I still won.
That's right.
I mean, that's bragging rights right there.
Yeah.
Battle Royale says he thinks he's playing Ryan this week. Let me check. I think he's right about that. No, looks like Ryan's got Cademan this week. Slanting Chubb's got Ben's Legends week 1 instead. He says he's got a solid squad. Thomas H gets our first Stardom Sit 'em question of the day, asking for his son, Odell or Hunt at flex, half-point PPR. And this is something interesting. I worry about Hunt a little bit, just playing against the Chiefs, but I'm wondering maybe he'll do even better than Chubb because Baker might throw it more. So what do you think, Jared? Odell or Hunt?
Yeah, that's a tough one because I think you're right. I mean, I think Hunt could be more in the game script because you got to assume the Chiefs are going to score some points. Although Cleveland has a good defense, I mean, they've got 2 good pass rushers in Clowney and Myles Garrett. So that was a lot of what wreaked havoc on the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Was just that pass rush. So I remember the Chiefs last year being, pretty good against outside wide receivers. Let's see if we can go back and see how they did against wide receivers last year. Because I think they were able to limit them pretty well. Let's see here. So last year, so Kansas City, I mean, you think of them for offense, but they actually gave up the 3rd fewest points to wide receivers last year, which is kind of surprising. So I would say Judah would go with Odell. Odell's his guy, and that's tempting to go with Odell, but I might have to go with Kareem on this one.
Yeah, I've got a couple of decisions with Hunt this week. I don't have Odell with him, but I got a couple of other choices, and I like Hunt this week, especially against Kansas City. I just think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I don't think either team is going to be able to run much. I think Baker's going to be throwing a lot, and Chiefs have good corners. Daniel Sorensen, I think, is the most underrated safety in football right now. So I think I'd also go with Hunt, but that is a tough decision. I think Hunt also definitely has a safer floor if it's half-point PPR because Odell might only get 1 or 2 catches, but Hunt's going to get a couple, I think, in my opinion. Anthony says his auto draft team is stacked. Sorry he didn't make the auction, but definitely managed the team. Glad to see you guys podcasting. Glenn, glad to be back podcasting again. It's nice to get back in midseason form already. And he and Liam apparently have a good matchup, in which they absolutely do. Anthony got 19 from Godwin to start, and Liam got 19 from CD and 21 from Antonio Brown. So that's shaping up to be just a great week 1 matchup in the listener league. Ryan N says he's got 4 teams and he loves both of his paid league teams. He's got 2 free, 2 paid. And in the 12-team 3 wide receiver, he has Ryan, McCaffrey, CEH, Cup, Lockett, Jefferson, Hawkinson, Mostert, Chenault, Corey Davis, Singletary, and Mooney. That's really good for 12-team.
Mm-hmm.
Wait. McCaffrey 1, Jefferson 2, CEH 3, Lockett, Cup, Mostert, Hawkinson maybe. Wow, that's a well-constructed roster. I like that.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Mm-hmm. Especially because CMC is going to give you 2 billion points for PPR as well. Liam Wilson's got a question for us. Says oh no. Oh boy. This is just a great question. T. Higgins or Tyler Boyd for flex? The man with the Bengals logo. Jared, what do you think?
That's a tough one because it's going to be interesting to see how, Cincinnati is almost kind of like a Tampa light where, they've got so many weapons. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes out overall, but especially week to week. You've got T. Higgins, you've got Tyler Boyd, you've got Jamar Chase, you've got Joe Mixon. So I think it's almost it's going to be a dice roll with those 2 each week. Last year, Boyd, he would have some blow up games where he would have double digit targets. He had three games where he had double digit targets. But then in the games where, he only had 5 or 6 targets, he wasn't doing a whole lot. I would just be, I think, a little bit more inclined to roll with T. Higgins, and see what you get this week. It may be a case where it ends up being maybe Jamar Chase makes more of an impact than what he has, at least in the preseason, which has been basically nothing. So maybe he starts taking away more from T, and then you see, okay, Boyd's going to be the underneath threat and he's more reliable. I would roll with T. Higgins for this week. But I think it could be a situation like with Tampa where, you may have weeks where 2 out of the 3 wide receivers do really well and one of them doesn't, and then it alternates the following week.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I think Higgins definitely is safer than Boyd for sure. At the very least, you at least get, a solid 5 or 6 catches almost every game last year. Jamar Chase is the biggest question mark for me. How much is he going to take away with that LSU connection with Burrow? I don't know what's going to happen there. But I would go Higgins for sure. I think he's a safer pick. But by extension, Jared, who do you like better this week than Boyd or Jamar Chase?
I got to go Boyd on that one just because of Jamar Chase's preseason. And then he followed up with those comments about having trouble seeing the ball. So that kind of, I guess, explains some of that. So I would give him a couple of games at least to see how he develops. I don't know that I would really want to play him that much over most other available options until we see that he's been able to bounce back from those preseason struggles.
Yeah, I know that he apparently had one really good week in camp, but that's a little I don't know how encouraging that is for me.
It does nothing for me. Because preseason in itself, if a guy's having a really good preseason, it doesn't mean that much to me necessarily. If they're having a bad preseason, then it might. But then when we start getting into like what kind of camp is he having, I can't put a whole lot of stock in camp.
Fair enough. I will say about the Bengals matchup, the more I look at them against the Vikings, the less I like it because the Vikings got kind of good this offseason. They have Rashad Breeland along with Harrison Smith at safety. They have Xavier Woods along with what's his name now, Patrick Peterson at cornerback. So it's not the most athletic or the best cornerback duo in the league or back four, but that's not bad. That's an experienced, smart secondary compared to the Vikings defense, of a year ago. Just fire up anybody and hope for the best that your running back gets a couple points. So I do think that might affect any of the Bengals wide receivers and what we end up seeing from all three of them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm curious about this before we move on, because somehow I wound up with a lot of Higgins and Chase. You're saying that you're putting some trust in that Minnesota defense?
I don't mind Minnesota. I think Minnesota's defense got better this offseason. Yeah, Harrison Smith is one of the most underrated safeties in football right now. He's great. Rashad Breeland wasn't bad for Kansas City. And Patrick Peterson and Xavier Woods, sure, they're kind of old, but they're also kind of smart. They are smart cornerbacks. So for a guy like Chase, who's already having a hard time, now he's got to go up against some of the most experienced players in the NFL when it comes to secondary. Mm-hmm. I worry about him. I don't think Minnesota's secondary is that bad.
Okay. I definitely think Higgins, though, is the one to go with. I saw something about Higgins versus who is it? Higgins versus the third guy there. Boyd. I mean, it's got to be Higgins, right? I didn't hear what you guys said, but
I went with Higgins.
I think it's underrated.
Both of us.
I got a fair amount. I think like the three receivers that I came out with the most stock in out of drafts were Amari Cooper, Deontay Johnson, and T. Higgins. I thought they were all underrated for where they were being drafted or the price they were being drafted for in auction leagues.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think T. Higgins is going to take a big step this year. And, people talk about Chase as if he's going to steal some throws, some targets, but Green had like so many. I think he had like 150 targets last year,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't see him Chase stealing any more targets than Green did. I think he just does better with them, which may lead, to some devaluing of Higgins. But I'm with you guys.
He's got to start seeing the ball first.
Who's that?
Jamar Chase says he's got
to catch it. Oh yeah, because
he has
the stripe. It doesn't have the stripe.
Yeah.
That was kind of taken out of context.
Next one up, Liam Wilson asks, Big Ben or Judahbuddha's favorite player, Ryan Fitzmagic? What do you think?
Player?
I don't know. You're just always the one with the pumpkin Fitzmagic jokes.
Oh, well, yeah. One day, he goes from Fitzmagic to Fitzpumpkin, and so you just got to get the Fitzmagic matchup. I like Fitzpatrick in this game. I think
Steelers got Buffalo on the road this week too.
Yeah. And I mean, it's possible that could turn into some like Dallas Tampa shootout type thing, because I mean Pittsburgh's probably going to have to score points to try to keep up with Buffalo, but Pittsburgh is just always harder to trust on the road, just all the way around. Ben, even their defense. And I mean, of course, that's true of a lot of teams, but there's just seems to be a bigger discrepancy for Pittsburgh. So, Fitzpatrick, I'd probably roll with Fitzpatrick in week 1.
Who are his targets? So we had the little guy from North Carolina go down. What was his name?
So,
Curtis Samuel.
Samuel.
Curtis Samuel's on IR now. Yeah.
Curtis Samuel went down for a couple of weeks, maybe the season. I don't know. But other than scoring McLaurin, who's he throwing to?
Adam Humphries and Logan Thomas.
Daddy? Logan Thomas. Okay, well, Logan Thomas.
Yeah. I mean, he's got and Fitzpatrick's not seems like hasn't been that much of a tight end guy, but Logan Thomas is good. So
he's almost like a whiteout anyways, right? I mean, Logan Thomas.
Yeah. So beyond that, it's not a lot of household names.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was my only concern. Curtis Samuel went down.
Yeah.
I thought, man, at first I thought they were going to be a really good offense, and I still do. It's just I'm actually going to kind of look for somebody. There may be a sleeper in there, and maybe it's their running back. What's his name?
Antonio Gibson or McKissick?
Yeah, Gibson. And maybe Gibson is a pass catcher if they decide to throw him the ball. But yeah, it may be McKissick with the speedster. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. That is one team that I'm watching closely is Washington. I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I've got a fair amount of Logan Thomas, and
Yeah.
I have one McLaurin, which I need McLaurin to do really well this week in particular. Going up against Jared.
Although I didn't get off to a good start in that league because I had Zeke in the Tampa D. So we'll see.
Whopping 7.
Hey, I'm not gonna. Hey, no. What was the? I'm not gonna start gloating like I did that one time. I'm gonna wait. To see what happens.
I just need on that one moment. I need one of those like what's called SB Nation or whoever does it, the rewinders or whatever. They go back. It's like the date is 2019. Judahbuddha has just taunted Jared. To see the background on this, let's rewind. I just need a full outlook on that. Moving on, Ryan N with a couple comments says his second paid league is also 12-man. He's got Brady, Aaron Jones, Chris Carson, Diggs, Lockett, J-Rob Hawkinson, Debo, Tyson, Antonio Brown, Pittman, Parker, and McKissick. How much do you bribe your league mates to get that kind of roster?
Yeah, Ryan needs to be doing more paid leagues at the rate he's going there. I mean, two's not enough.
Yeah.
That's a pretty solid group.
Yeah. That is really good.
Well, he starts off he's starting off hot, right? With AB and Brady.
Mm-hmm.
I have high hopes for Lockett this year. I think we're going to see peak Lockett. Diggs, obviously, he's going to be solid. Carson, I don't know. Aaron Jones, I have question marks about too. Not his skill or anything. It's almost just too good to be true, though. It's like there's something I'm worried, and part of it is being a Packers fan. I'm just worried. Too good to be true. He's not going to do this high touchdown, high yards thing every year. I don't know.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know. I worry a little bit about Dylan possibly stealing some goal line stuff. Other than that, though, I don't know that I worry too much about Aaron Jones.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I think he'll be fine. Ryan Ann says he couldn't help but notice Jared got Tyson in our league. Anything to say to that, Jared?
Yeah, that was one that I wanted to grab him. I didn't have a whole lot of money left, and so I was looking for guys that I could get at a good value. And he had such a great preseason. I thought he, even with Gus in there, might get a fair amount of work. And so then Gus went down, which is something we'll need to talk about too. Is the Ravens backfield and just the poor Ravens in general. But now it's going to be interesting to see, because that's an odd mix of that backfield with Tyson, with Le'Veon Bell and Latavius Murray. I don't know what that's going to end up looking like, and I have some thoughts on how it may change some of what the Ravens do otherwise, but yeah, I'm not sure how that's going to shake out. But Tyson Williams looked really good in the preseason. I thought he was a great cheap value even before Gus got hurt. So I actually I don't know. I've got Tyson in maybe like a third of my leagues, and what was bad was like a few days beforehand I dropped him in a couple because I thought like, there's a couple of good players that are available, and I don't know that he's going to get that much of a workload and just enough to keep him over those others. So I dropped him there. But then fortunately I saw the news like literally just like the second that Gus went down. I happened to be on Twitter and saw that and was able to pick him up in a few other leagues. And so it's basically just a wash where I dropped him in some and then picked him up in some others. So yeah, I got a fair amount of stock in Tyson, but I don't know how that's going to shake out with Le'Veon and Latavius.
Well, I think the interesting thing is that they're all sort of the same guy. Well, I'll say this: the Latavius and what's his name? Tyson
Williams.
Tyson Williams. So I think Le'Veon and Tyson are pretty much the same player, except Tyson's younger. But the way they play is really similar. Like looking for the hole, slow on to begin, and then but some lateral agility. I to me, Latavius is just a Gus Bus replacement. Like he's just going to do what Gus Bus is doing. He's a really good Gus Bus replacement. But he's not going to help. He doesn't give them. None of them give them speed. And the speed is going to come from their quarterback. Yeah, Lamar is going to be their speed.
Yeah,
but the difficulty is our defense is gonna. None of those guys get off to a quick start. So our defense is going to fall for the play action, right? Like to me, that's what I think that's going to be the problem. You got a couple of slow guys getting the ball. Do they just collapse on the whole handoff?
Yeah, I think they'll actually be fine with play action because technically every play action with the Ravens is a triple option because it completely depends on whether Lamar's going to take it, the running back's going to take it, or he's going to bail out to Mark Andrews. So I think the running back's going to be fine. I think going back to what you said, Judah, about how you were talking about week one is an outlier. I mean, Le'Veon and Latavius Murray have maybe had 5 minutes to look at that playbook and figure out what they need to do for week one. So I think in the coming weeks, we're going to figure out how the Ravens running back room is going to shake down, which is still hilarious that a former Steeler is now playing on the Ravens to me. But yeah, they have a good core of running backs there. And I really don't know what to think of it at all right now. Because as you guys know, my least favorite thing in fantasy of all time, even more than streaming quarterbacks and mediocre defenses, is running back by committee. And that is what I'm very scared the Ravens are going to implement by week 4. But yeah, congratulations, Jared, for taking Tyson in a league where I had Gus Bus.
I'll trade him to you for, like $4 on the dollar.
I went back and looked at the Tyson tape, and I don't know, I just wasn't impressed. He looked. I heard somebody compare him to Le'Veon Bell, just because, finding the good thing is they also have a really good offensive line, right?
Yeah, they have a brilliant offensive line. Even though didn't they trade Orlando Brown to the Chiefs though? They did lose him, right? Pretty sure
they traded someone. Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah,
I think it was Orlando Brown.
But of all three of those, who catches the best? What do they need? Yeah, Bell is basically he served as almost like a slot wide receiver.
I don't even know enough about Tyson. I mean, I think Tyson Williams looks okay as a 3-down back, right? I mean, obviously we know for sure with Le'Veon, but I think from what I remember them kind of talking about, I'll have to look at his preseason numbers to see, how much he really.
He had like one game in the preseason. It's hard to.
Yeah, I know, but I mean, I was just going to look and see if he just didn't catch anything, period, or if, he had 6 catches in one game, if there was anything we could really pull away from that. But, I think, so he played 3 games. The third game, he didn't really, he just had 4 rush attempts and 1 target that he caught. Actually, he was targeted 8 times in the preseason, and he caught all 8.
Wow.
And in that first game where I guess he had the most action, he had 5 targets, caught all 5, 22 yards. So not, they're just like, I guess, throwing to him at
Dump offs.
dump offs near the line of scrimmage. But yeah, I mean, it looks like, catching the ball is not a problem for him. And he's not, he's not fast, but he's not slow. I mean, 4.48 40. I looked it up. And so, if you're in the 4.4s, I mean, that's okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They needed a speedster. They really needed. I mean, they didn't replace DK. Not DK. What's his name?
JK.
JK. They didn't replace JK.
Yeah.
They just have a bunch of gas buses.
Yeah. I mean, there's only so much that's out there and available. I mean, they signed Devonta Freeman in the short term too.
I forgot about that.
Because there's just only the speed guys are not just hanging around on every corner. So it's much easier to find a veteran who
workhorse.
Yeah,
absolutely.
An old workhorse. Yeah.
So I mean, maybe they make, who knows? Maybe they make a trade or something if it seems like these options are not working out well. But I'm really curious to see what Tyson Williams can do, because I mean, in parts of the preseason, and again, it's preseason, but I mean, just the way he ran looked really good.
Ryan N in the comments says he's got Washington and Patriots, Sanders and Tucker in his paid leagues for defense and kicker. So he's locked there. And he also says he beat us all to the first trade of the podcast league, which it was going to be either him or Jared. One of them was going to make the first trade.
I did get some offers from Jared. Yeah,
I did. It was like low level stuff. Yeah.
Anthony's got a question for us. Did you guys go Gaskin or Henderson? Half point PPR. Liam Wilson says they both have hard matchups. You guys both know I've been scared of Gaskin ever since Brian Flores said that they're going to run a 3-man rotation. He got more of the carries in preseason, and Henderson's going up against Chicago. So, and Gaskin, it doesn't get any easier because he's got Miami, I believe.
The Miami's got the Patriots.
Yeah, Patriots. Right. I said Miami. Yes, they've got the Patriots. Yeah.
I knew what you meant. Yeah.
Thank you. Tough matchups for both of them. Half point PPR. One of them's coming banged up. The other one's in a committee. What do you guys think?
I'll make mine quick and say I think Henderson. Because I don't know exactly what we're going to get from Gaskin. Well, we don't know exactly from Henderson either, but Sony Michel's first game, I think Rams are at home, aren't they? Isn't this? It's in Los Angeles. So I would go Henderson, and then we'll see, after week 1 how things look.
I like Gaskin more, but I would go Henderson as well, because I think that's going to be a huge Rams win. I think they're going to crush the Bears. I don't see the Bears as that good of a defense.
Yep. Thank you. Continue.
I really do. As we talk about first week outliers, it's either like terrible or awesome. I think it is going to be a huge game for Matt Stafford. Yeah, it's going to be an outlier. I don't think he's going to. It's going to be one of those. Everybody's like, "Oh, Matthew Stafford saved the Rams," and then he's just.
And I called it at my own pain because it will happen against my team.
I think he's going to have a great first game. I don't think he's going to be as good for the whole season.
Yeah, this one's easy for me. It's Henderson. Gaskin. I'm sorry, Brian Flores scared me away from drafting Gaskin at all. I literally have him nowhere, which hurts. Because he saved my season in Roto Hackers last year and got me 20 points in the third place game. He saved me last year. But
that shouldn't be what scares you away.
But Brian Flores, I know. But also this is Brian Flores who said that he's willing to bring in a closing quarterback, and Ryan Fitzpatrick did just that. Brian Flores is like the most mind-boggling coach I've ever seen in forever. I can't understand. I just don't understand. He's just on another level than me. Henderson, I prefer him. If you notice how well the Bears run defense did against the run last year, it wasn't very good. We had a good secondary and a great pass rush, but our run defense wasn't good. We got shredded by Darrell Henderson and Malcolm Brown last year. I don't really see it going much differently. I think our pass rush is still going to be great. Cornerbacks are weaker because it's Jalen Johnson and whoever we found for a minimum contract. And look, unless something
who
changes,
you guys gonna put there?
unless some Jalen Johnson and Buster Screen, I don't know. And whoever, I prefer Henderson. Gaskin's got a really tough matchup against a brutal New England defense week 1 in a committee. And Henderson has a run defense that didn't do well last year, and he's uncontested. Easy Henderson for me.
I think the Patriots could do another one of those Patriots defense years.
Yeah, that is true.
They look formidable, and they're sort of under the radar.
Mhm.
As far as shutdown defense.
Yeah.
I heard somebody talking about how they could be, and they got a way better schedule this year, because they did so bad last year.
Yeah.
It could end up being a good defense to hang on to or pick up if they're out there on the waiver wire.
Mm-hmm. Ryan N's got a question for us. Only start-sit question is Chenault, Corey Davis. Ooh, it's interesting. Or Raheem Mostert in PPR. My first inclination is Mostert, but what are you guys thinking about this one?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Mostert.
Yeah, that Lions defense is tough to it's tough to turn away from someone getting the Lions defense. I mean, Corey Davis. I like Corey Davis too. Going up. I mean, he's kind of got a lot of targets probably coming his way early on while Crowder's out, and then I don't remember what Moore's situation is for the. Let's look. I don't remember Elijah Moore's situation for the first game, so I guess he's in. So, I would go Mostert, but I like Corey
also
Davis.
while you're thinking, Ryan N did bring up he needs boom. Cooper scored 38 for his opponent.
Oh,
does that change that for you, Jared?
No, I think it just pushes me more into Mostert, thinking like maybe he could. Have a couple of touchdowns. It's still Mostert for me.
The only thing I'm thinking about is my main man. What's his name? I don't. Sermon coming in because it's a blowout. I mean, they're obviously. I mean, I don't know if it's obvious, but all signals point to a blowout. And what better time to use the rookie, get the rookie's legs under him, and let him. But Mostert might be part of that blowout. So I think he's a little bit capped though if it is a blowout. So I might go Corey Davis if you want the big boom.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I'm leaning Mostert as well. Panthers are going to be at home. That's all. Carolina, surprisingly, doesn't do poorly at home. I don't know. I think Wilson will be fine. I think Corey Davis. I would go Davis or Mostert. Chenault, I'm not super high on. Lawrence has a million targets to throw to, and Marvin Jones is gonna catch all of them. But for me, it comes down to Corey Davis or Mostert. I go Mostert for the great matchup, I think, and. Oh, man. Yeah, I'll go Raheem Mostert. Davis is close for me, but I'll go Raheem Mostert for this one. It's a tough one, though. Ryan N.
Safe pick.
Yeah. Ryan N. Bringing up his secret. He makes 2-for-1 trades. That's how he's able to just build stacked teams. He picks 4 running backs and trades Mike Davis and Coleman for Tyler Lockett. Okay. That's pretty smart. I like that. That's good. Liam Wilson's got a question for us. How long do you guys think you boys predict it will take for us to see Justin Fields and Trey Lance? Speaking of the Bears and Niners, Judah, what do you think? Fields and Lance, when do they start?
Fields first. We're going to see Fields first. I'd say after the first 2 weeks. I don't think we see Trey Lance the whole year.
Whoa, at all?
On record saying that I don't think we see him. Like he'll come in. I think he's going to be like a gadget. He's going to have this like weird gadget, hill type, function. But I've seen some of it. I've seen some things. I saw him in this quarterback competition that the 49ers did with, I forget who it was. I think it was the Raiders or something like that.
Yeah.
And he underwhelmed. It just is amazing. I think it was Beathard or somebody was ahead of him, just in the backups. The backups played too, and I was just like, wow, this guy is underwhelming in his throwing ability and in his accuracy, and that kind of thing. So,
Jared, what
I
do you
think he needs a lot of work.
Yeah, basically. I mean, I basically agree. I think Fields first for sure. I don't think it's going to take that long. Yeah, poor Andy Dalton, starting with the Rams. That is not a good recipe right there.
Who's week 2? Like week 2 is just as bad, I think.
No, week 2 is Cincinnati.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Got a cupcake.
They'll leave him in for Cincinnati. They get a little revenge game in there.
No offense, Liam, with the Bengals picture.
That's true. They might leave him in for that game. Yeah, Trey Lance, I don't know. Judah sounds like he's watched a little bit more than I have on some of that stuff. I think he could be right on being used as sort of a Taysom Hill type for at least a good chunk of year one, if not all of it. But I don't know. I could see maybe, at some point Kyle Shanahan making the switch, but we'll see. It's just going to depend on how Jimmy G looks, and he's set up to succeed. The 49ers have a good running game. They've got, one of the top 2 tight ends in football. They've got 2 good young receivers in Ayuk and Deebo Samuel.
Mm-hmm.
So there's nothing more, that he could really get. So we'll see.
Yeah, Fields.
A lot of it comes down to
Jimmy. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You're shooting.
Yeah. Fields goes in week 4. That's my prediction. We don't start him week 4 or 5. One of the two. Rams, no. Bengals, they don't because it's week 2, so they give Dalton an easy game. We get Browns week 3, but then week 4, we get the Lions. If Dalton still looks bad against Detroit, Fields goes in and starts the rest of the season, I think. Because after that, we've got the Raiders, and, after that, we got Packers and Bucks and 49ers and then the Steelers and the Ravens. There really is there's no good time to start Fields once we get mid-season. So I feel like if I'm the coach, if you're starting him trying to save your job here, I wouldn't start him all year because I want him to sit for a year and learn an NFL offense, put him in against easier matchups, but I don't want him to go up against Packers first season. No. I think he goes in week 4 or 5. I think if Dalton looks bad against the Lions, he gets put in there, or against the Raiders, or they put him there because they're easier matchups as well. Because if they're going to start him against the Steelers for his first NFL game, or against the Bucks or the 49ers, and by then it's going to be too late because we're only going to have a couple games left, so he ain't going to save your season by that point. So I think he goes in against Lions or Raiders. Trey Lance, I don't know. Liam Wilson says he thinks Dalton's going to get embarrassed by the Rams D in week 1. Yeah, the Bears O-line is it's pretty bad right now. We signed Jason Peters, who's 39 years old. Moving on. Wow. Liam Wilson, all of his eggs are in the Latavius basket.
Yeah, said. that was a major waiver. Or let's see, wasn't he who got Latavius in our league?
I think it was.
Yeah, he went like $34 or something on him.
$34.
What?
Let's see. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Hurry up, hurry down. Is that Liam's
Murray
team?
down? Yeah,
it is Liam.
Murray down. Yeah, of course. He's got Latavius in the name.
Yeah.
He believes himself some Latavius. Wow.
I just missed getting him with my $1 offer.
So close.
I didn't even bother. I don't want a Latavius. Yeah, I'm not a Latavius believer.
Although you did pick up T.Y. Hilton, who you repeatedly drag as an old man. So
he is an old man. You know what? I was just looking for guys I can put on the IR. So
Yeah,
fair.
he was out there. I thought, but yeah, that is kind of funny. I've been on record saying he should be out of the league, and I went out and picked him up.
you're also the one who said he got injured due to old age.
He did. To be honest, they're like, we're not going to say what it is, but he's on the injured reserve now. And it's old age.
Yeah. Liam said the running back waiver's barren, which is why he went hard on Murray and his especially with 14 teams, and his team needs a running back. Yeah, with Curtis Samuel, who's a pseudo running back, going down, and Henry Sermon and Chuba Hubbard. Yeah. Oh my goodness, the running back wire is going to be absolutely dead. My goodness.
It will be. When there's an injury and a guy who's on the wire looks like he's going to get a starting job, the bids for it are going to be crazy.
Oh, without a doubt.
Well, Ryan, Chuba Hubbard could be pretty. He could be
true.
A good.
Mm-hmm.
You're a big believer in Chuba Hubbard this year, aren't you? This is like the fourth time you've mentioned him.
I'm a big believer. Well, I'm not a believer in Christian McCaffrey at all. I think I just think he's done. I think he'll have some big games, but
no,
I think he's done.
You took Zeke over him. You took Zeke over Christian McCaffrey.
Yes, I did. Week 1, it doesn't look great, okay? I wish I had taken. I would have taken Kamara, but I just have too many leagues with him in it.
You did take Kamara over C-Mac in one of our leagues. You did.
I know.
C-Mac fell to me.
Lots of leagues. In lots of leagues, I took Kamara over C-Mac.
Oh my goodness. Ryan N, he usually doesn't like having players in multiple leagues, but he's got quite a few guys in 2 leagues this year. Let's see what else. Anthony's got a question for us, and we'll hit up Trey S. Anthony says, I have a lot of Hertz shares, 5 out of 12 leagues. What do you guys think are his prospects for the year? I think he could shock some people. What do you guys think about Philly's quarterback? Judah, you are shaking your head already.
I'm down on him. I don't think he's very good. Looking at he had good production last year for fantasy in his one game, but he looked terrible. And on top of that, I saw this, a lot of this comes from what I heard some analysts talking about the changes in the rule book now, and the rules is going to make it harder for running quarterbacks. They explained it. It has a lot to do with less room to run in general and passing decisions. And so I think it's going to hurts young running quarterbacks that don't have that can't get past their first read. It's gonna hurt.
Yeah,
It's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. What were you saying?
I debated, drafting in more leagues. I think I only have him. I think I have him as a backup in a couple of leagues. I mean, again, keep in mind I've got like 20 leagues, way more than I always intend. But anyway, so basically he's a backup in 2 leagues. He's maybe a starter in the other one. It's him and Matthew Stafford, so I could go with Stafford. But yeah, I may feel, the thing about Jalen Hurts had 2 great fantasy games last year. He saved me. He saved me in a league where I started him at the last minute, and and he ended up with I think that was the week that he played.
He blew up.
Yeah, that was
40 points.
Yeah, that was week 15. That was the first round of the playoffs, and he passed for 338 yards and 3 touchdowns. He ran for 63 and a touchdown. But it was against the Dallas defense. And then, or no, I'm sorry, that one was against Arizona. And then the following week, he had a pretty good game yardage wise against Dallas. But yeah, I mean, basically one really good fantasy game and then another solid one. I never really thought that much of him coming out of college, what he was going to be in the NFL. I will be grateful to him for that one blow up week last year, but I don't trust him as a starter, and especially in Philadelphia with the wide receiver weapons. I mean, their best weapon is probably a rookie. So yeah, I don't trust him.
Who's their best weapon? Who do you think the best weapon
Smith.
is?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, easy. I'm more high on Hurts than both of you guys, which is interesting. I think he could be a decent sleeper pick. I didn't like him where he was going. I think he was going a round or two too high for me, and auction quarterbacks vary or whatever. But I think Hurts could be good. He had an good end of the year last year, and the most important thing to me, he's got the easiest schedule in football this season. The Eagles' schedule is true. Beautiful. And in their division, the only team I'm really scared of is Washington. Outside of them, 2 matchups against Dallas, 2 matchups against the Giants, who have a good run defense. But outside of that, a little bit shaky.
The Colts.
Different conference.
Right, but he plays them twice, right?
No.
He plays them once?
No. Yeah, he only plays them once, if he plays them at all. What's it called? So I like Hurts. He's still got Goddard and Ertz as well as red zone targets. I think he's got the rushing floor as well. And I know you said it's going to be harder, but that's still, for fantasy wise, any rushing yards you get from a quarterback is a nice little bonus. So I don't think he's going to be that bad. Top 5, no, but I can see him breaking into top 10. I don't think he'll have an extraordinary year, but
top
easy
10.
schedule. I think he could be number 10 or 9. I think so. Just a couple of good games, easy schedule. Like Jared said, I think my biggest concern is his weapons are mediocre, but I like Jalen Hurts. I don't mind him. Trey S, possibly Trey Sermon in our chat. I don't know. You tell me. Says, afternoon, fellas. Need some flex help. Full PPR. Henderson. Woods is his wide receiver 2. Connor, Gaskin, Galladay, Juju, or Judy. Thanks. I say Henderson. What about you guys?
He just needs one guy out of those guys?
Yep, right. Full PPR.
Yeah, I mean, I think I got to go Henderson. We talked about him and Gaskin earlier. I don't know exactly how it's going to shake out with James Conner and Chase Edmonds. The Broncos have a pretty good defense, and Galladay and the Giants. I'm going Henderson. I'm going with the possibility that the Rams just wreck Andy Dalton. They constantly have the ball and inside, the Bears 20 due to repeated strip sack fumbles and interceptions. So I'm going to go Henderson still.
It's just the only thing is full PPR. I don't think Henderson's catching anything.
I don't know. I don't know.
He might.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm kind of partial. Nah, I mean, just all the other ones are just. Maybe Judy. Nah, I'll probably go Henderson too. I'd go Henderson.
Yeah. Moving on. Eric Courier says J-Boo, which is apparently his new abbreviation for Judahbuddha. J-Boo is hating on the last few brought up. Who are your upside surprises for this year then? And let's make sure to keep records for posterity.
Posterity, huh? He's in my keeper league, so I got to be careful. But Gronk was one of my favorites for being good this year. I don't think he's going to be 20 points a game, so that was a little bit of an outlier. Gronk and Sermon and Woods and running backs. I think Davis is going to do really good. And the more and more I look at it, I think Davis is going to blow up, at least for the first half. But as I always say, I stole from Sigmund Bloom. in fantasy, you're going to be right and you're going to be wrong. You're like, there's going to be like swaths of the it's a long season. And there's going to be times where you're like, oh man, look, see, Grog's blowing up. And then like end of the season, he's like barely walking. So I like the idea of looking at I think it's one thing we've learned is of the many things from the Ultimate Stud here is looking at that week 15 game, and I think some of these rookies could start really being a major factor in week 15. Sermon in particular. I have a lot of Sermon. Yep. Do you want more? Jared, what do you thought?
That one was specifically for your sleeper picks. So yeah.
Is this sleeper picks?
Upside
surprise.
Upside picks. Sorry. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gronk, but I mean now it's like we talked a little bit about it last week. I like Gronk, and I took him in a lot of places. Upside though, yeah, so kind of like sleeper.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to get behind Marvin Jones because of all the years it's been like 5 touchdowns on one game and then the next game and then nothing.
No. Marvin Jones has always been the same. He doesn't score for 8 weeks, and then once Galladay gets injured, he is a easy wide receiver 2 for the rest of the year. Every time. And Eric Courier says you guys can all chime in. So Jared, do you have any upside surprises at all?
So a guy I'm kind of wondering if maybe he's going to have a better year. He's overlooked. He's been kind of overlooked. I haven't really heard anyone talk too much about him this year because last year was the year that everybody was expecting him to break out. Is Marquise Brown. He didn't, he was just MIA pretty often early on last year. Yeah. And then over kind of the course of the last 8 games or so, counting playoffs, like 5 games of the regular season plus the postseason, he was pretty regularly getting like about, 8 targets or so. He had 6 touchdowns in those 8 games. He had 85 yards or more in half of them. The other half, he was usually in the 40 to 50 range. But, that was just year 2 for him. He's a first round pick in 2019. He's a small guy. He's a speedster and a deep threat. So, you can't really count on him week to week to put up consistency like some of these other guys. But for him to basically be, almost free, or maybe, he cost you $1, or maybe he's still on a lot of waiver wires. I think he's on, he's 59% rostered. He's on the waiver wire in the majority of my leagues, but I don't have a great spot for him in a lot of leagues. But I'm curious to see. I think he's got, some upside potential, especially as we look at what's happening with the Ravens backfield, and maybe they end up having to throw a little bit more, and maybe his his good finish to the season from last year carries over. So we'll see.
Is he still injured though?
He is not listed with an injury in Yahoo. So I think he could make a good DFS play this week against the Raiders.
Fair. True.
Yeah, I saw in one of our leagues, AJ, it might have been the listener league. Thomas picked him up.
I think it was that one. Yeah.
You know how come in some leagues you get like these notifications when people pick things up and some you don't?
I don't know. I get notifications for all of them, I think.
All of them?
I think. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Maybe that's something I have to check in settings. I don't know, because I want updates on everything.
But I'll get like a balloon, and I'm like, somebody picked up some schmo. Okay, great.
Oh man. Upside surprises for me are mostly like later round wide receivers. Like Pittman's going to be the only one catching balls half the time in Indianapolis. I like him. Marvin Jones, like I said, he and Lawrence had a great connection. He's round 10 value. Really like him. I think Jarvis Landry could be solid. He's always comes around late round of the year. Depending on how well the Browns offense looks, how their run game goes, I think he could be good. Tight end and running back. I'm sorry. I tried my hardest to come up with some stuff here, but it's just a mess. It's like if you're not a starter, you're Jamal Williams. And if you're not Jamal Williams, you're a handcuff. And that's about it at that point. My only real running back upside would be Henderson because I like him a lot in round 5. I thought that was brilliant value for him. And I like James Robinson a lot. I really like Robinson.
Yeah.
I think he could have a really good year as well. Especially that they'll have more of a passing game now with a better receiving core and Lawrence as well. I think that he could be a good choice. And he catches passes. He caught like 50 passes last year.
Who?
James Robinson. I don't think it's
he
going to be
did.
that high. I don't think Lawrence is going to check down nearly as much as he did, as Minshew did. But I like J-Rob. I like him. I like his outlook this year.
Can I give you one more?
Hit me. Yeah, go ahead.
Carter. What's his first name?
Michael
Carter.
Yeah.
Michael Carter is like, people are throwing him in the garbage right now. And I had to look to see if he was injured. I had to see. I think that the demise of the Jets has been greatly over exaggerated. And I like their new quarterback. I forget what his name is.
Zach Wilson.
Zach Wilson. Yeah. Yeah, I like Zach Wilson. I think they're putting together a good team, and I think Carter has the skill to just blow up. Not right away. He's got to contend with a little bit of a committee there. But
Yeah,
I think he has the skill to be the back in what could be a better team than everybody thinks.
and I think that's the one reason why everybody was scared of him because during preseason, he split carries almost evenly with Tevin Coleman and whoever the other one is. It's not Malcolm Brown. He's in Miami.
P. Ryan.
Okay.
Ty Johnson.
Ty Johnson. That's who it was.
Ty Johnson.
Yes.
Yeah,
Ty Johnson. Yeah. Both of them. I think that's what scared everybody off. But yeah, I don't disagree with you. The Jets are a good team, but they also got to. But here's my one thing. They've got they have to play the Bills twice, they have to play the Patriots twice, and they have to play the Dolphins twice. And that's a brutal schedule if you're a running back. And I can't remember off the top of my head who they get championship week, but that's the thing that scared me away from Michael Carter the most. The amount of bad matchups he's going to have just purely due to division was a little too much for me.
Week 15 against Miami.
Ugh.
At Miami.
Yeesh. Controversial. I still don't really know how to say it. Controversial. Good to have you back. Ask Corey Davis or Allen Robinson PPR. And any other week, Allen Robinson's an easy stardom. But this is the Rams. So what do you guys think about Dalton, Texas Ranger, throwing to Allen Robinson or Corey Davis?
Yeah, I don't like that Rams matchup with not just Aaron Donald coming after Dalton, but Jalen Ramsey on Allen Robinson. I would actually probably go with Corey Davis here.
Wow.
Just for 1 week.
I was just looking at the numbers. Allen Robinson got the most yards against Ramsey last year, but they shut down. And he had like 70 yards, I think, against. But they shut down everybody. Shut down everybody. Yeah. And as far as yards go, in particular, he had the most.
Yeah.
The whole season was 70 yards as far as wide receiver. And yeah, I'm going Corey Davis. Who are the Jets playing?
Panthers.
Yeah, Corey Davis.
Gosh, I can't believe I have to even.
It's hard to say that, but I know it hurts.
I know. I still get flashbacks from Corey Davis dropping 2 goose eggs in the playoffs last year. I still get flashbacks to that. That's anytime someone mentions him, I'm immediately like, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. That's what I keep thinking of. But Yeah, you guys might be right. As much as I hate to say it, Zach Wilson against the Panthers is a much better matchup than Andy Dalton and a messed up offensive line against the Rams. I can't believe I'm saying that. Ryan N says, as a Bucs fan, he has wanted no Tampa players in fantasy. He has one share of Brady, one share of AB, and that's it. That's surprising. I like Brady. I mean, we all agree their running back situation is a mess, but
yeah, that's interesting. I mean, maybe. Well, I'm wondering if it's for one of two reasons. One, if it's that he didn't want to be conflicted. I don't know. That wouldn't really make sense. But maybe it's just that he thought there were too many mouths to feed, and he wasn't sure about Brady. Was kind of afraid to go back to the well another time on Brady. But I can understand. I didn't draft many shares of Bucs players. I have Godwin in one place, and I have Evans and a few others, mostly just because that's just the way it worked out. I didn't really draft him. I think maybe I drafted him in one place too and traded for him in two others because it just so happened that I had an extra tight end or quarterback that I got at a good value in an auction draft and needed to trade it to someone who was needy at that spot. And it just so happened to be Mike Evans in a couple of leagues. So that they had where I was looking to trade for a wide receiver. So yeah, I understand Ryan's logic on that, but I don't know. It's looking like, I mean, they won't get the Cowboys every week, but it's looking like there's going to be, a fair amount of love to go around. Because
they didn't win their division, though, their schedule is better than it could have been. Like, they have a pretty decent schedule. I know they don't have the Cowboys every week.
Is that how it works? Is that how the schedule works? Because I know that they arrange like divisions to play each other. Like, you play your division twice. You play one NFC division and you play one AFC division. And that goes for everybody in your division. So is that like the other games included there?
That's what I heard. I heard that they got a easier schedule because they didn't win their division.
Huh.
I don't know if that's true or not.
That would make sense.
Verify.
That would make does that make that would make sense.
It doesn't really matter.
That might make sense because the Bucs play the Bears, but the Saints get the Packers. Whoa, I didn't think about that. Huh.
Well, now you know. I'm just passing on knowledge I heard. So I have a lot of Brady and Gronk. I fell in love with Brady last year. And I heard this guy, I forget who it was, but it was an NFL player who was saying, you guys are sleeping on Gronk. He came out of hibernation and to get those cogs turning, and now he's on more of Brady is on his butt as far as like diet and exercise, and he's going to be prime this year. So I don't know. Also, he was saying he was really banged up all those years, those final years that he didn't do so great. He's super healthy now. So
interesting.
He looked good Thursday night. He did. He looked like prime Gronk running that last TD, and I was like, oh my goodness. It felt like Brady didn't even have to think about it either. Like, he could have been blindfolded and made that throw.
Yeah. And Gronk also showed how smart he was on those too. Like, just that little block shed on both of them. Man, that was nice. And Ryan N's got his explanation too. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay, what is it?
Go ahead.
No, I said in a lot of places I had Gronk, but I got him so late and so low. I gave him on my bench.
Yeah, he was going undrafted a lot of places, right?
Man,
it's crazy. Ryan and his explanation: Brady went too early. Everyone else too many mouths. He expects the Bucs to be winning and milking the clock quite a lot, and he doesn't like the boomer bust of the wide receiver core.
Fair.
Yeah, Jared, you hit it right on the head.
In the same way that it could have been, that's I was thinking about this during the game. I'm like looking at Evans and thinking, I'm glad I don't have any Evans. But next week it could be Evans that blows up, and Antonio Brown that doesn't have any. it's really game dependent, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Defense dependent too.
Mm-hmm.
Who they play next week? I'm kind of curious about their schedule now.
Yeah. Which, to be fair, the Bucks, that is one of the things I think it might be one of the biggest advantages for week 1, week 2. If you play Thursday night, you're going to be rested because you don't have any games. And that means you play Sunday the next week. That's one of the best scenarios you can end up with as a team. You start the season with like a 10-day week. That's nice.
Falcons.
They get Falcons. Oh,
Falcons, but then the Rams. Yeah, they're going to tear the Falcons apart. Yeah, it's not.
I think it's decently hard. Yeah,
they do. It's not easy. Week 15 though is Panthers. Is that right?
Is that game? Wait, week 15. I can't even think of that anymore with all like the new week changes.
So
week
16 is the new 15. 16 and 17. 16 and 17 rather than 15 and 16.
Oh yeah. So they get the Jets week 16.
Oh boy. They might start Blaine Gabbert that game.
Well, I don't know. The Jets don't look that bad on defense.
This is the Bucks we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about? Should we talk? I guess we talked pretty in depth about the Ravens.
Yeah.
Running backs. Is there anything else in the news that you guys noticed?
I don't think so. Not off the top of my head I can think of. I'll double check real quick, but I think we might have gotten everything.
I mean, it's only been one game, and it's hard to tell what's going to happen from here on out without seeing a little bit more action out there on the field.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to look too, see if I see anything.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at Yahoo's rankings here real quick to see if there are any players like in terms of starter sit that I think are above or below where they should go.
Oh, we didn't talk about Eckler.
Oh yeah. Forgot about that because I don't think I drafted him at all.
I didn't either.
I didn't either. But let's see. So what's the latest? So he's expected to play.
Yeah, looks good. And
he's expected to play, but I mean, it's terrible to hear this guy who constantly has injury problems, particularly with his hamstring, is having problems with his hamstring. You know, regardless if he's going to play or not. I mean, obviously, we'd rather him play.
Of course.
But man, oh man. I'd be really, I mean, it's kind of, I think we all were kind of saying that this guy is, he's a great player, but it's not built for an every down back.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And their backfield's kind of a mess behind him. I mean, then it's,
who do you pick up? Jackson?
Yeah. Jackson, Josh Kelly, it's, if there had been a clear cut backup behind him, that might've been a good, sleeper pick to store, but
yeah, I do think out of all three, Jackson might be good to grab in deeper leagues if you've got the spot. If I don't know, Edwards leaves you a spot in your IR and a certain stud takes Tyson Williams in your league, and then Judah takes him in another league, and Thomas H takes him in another league, then Justin Jackson might be a guy to pick up. Because he has been the consistent number 2 for 3 years now. And he certainly hasn't been great. He's been okay at best, but I mean, he's in a better Chargers offense. Maybe something changes. Because I remember Josh Kelly blew up for 1 week, and then everybody thought he was going to be the new starter. And that died out really fast. So
yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, that's about all I got. There's some I'm probably more than fantasy. I'm more curious to see what the Colts look like. So.
I am too. I was just looking at the Colts schedule. They got a great schedule. I try to get a lot of Colts. I was just looking at. I have a lot of wins.
Mhm.
I have a lot of wins and
Mm.
high hopes for him. Talk about somebody who I think is going low, who might have really high upside. If he can stay healthy, I think I have high hopes for him. I know you don't, Jared. I think you kind of think he's
No, I haven't said that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
Well, you're worried, right?
I'm worried about him staying healthy more than anything else. I think if he can kind of get going, I think he could end up. I don't know that he's ever going to get back to that sort of almost MVP level that he had in year 2, but yeah, I mean, I think he could surprise people, but I really, I don't know. I'm nervous, but I'm eager to see how it looks.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's about
right.
it.
Yeah. Well, you guys, let's go ahead and can we do Monday night? Looking at this Monday night?
Yeah.
Sure.
Should be able to.
We'll do 8:00. Is that too late?
EST
too
or
early?
CST?
Sorry, EST.
Yeah, that should work.
Is that too early for you?
No. I get off work at 6. I'm good.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll shoot for 8:00 EST, 7:00 CST. Is that really how it works?
Yeah, that's
anyway,
right.
So,
yeah.
And that's pretty much all I have. It's good. It's good to be back talking about football, man. It feels good.
Oh, yeah. And after one game, we talked for an hour. So at this rate, we'll be talking for 15 hours on Monday.
Oh gosh. All right, guys. Hey, I'm sure I'll see you guys. And I think what's it called? The Discord. Discord will be live, and if Jared wants to join this year, he finally joined the league, so maybe we can expect him to join the Discord.
Maybe.
It might be blowing up during the games. It's going to be exciting. We'll see you guys out there.
Good luck this week.
Good luck, guys.
Bye. I stole Jared's line. Sorry.
It's okay.
Does he have the patent?